Yeah, good morning, ladies and gentlemen who are joining us for today's webinar. You're all welcome. Today we're going to be talking about organic and everything, how to get ourselves certified, prepare ourselves for organic certification. We will be looking at wild collections, even for processing, organic processing certification, and even for the field. We're very honored to have with us a very seasoned expert who works with EcoSet, Stephen Achampong, who knows all the ins and outs of organic, and he'll be taking us through everything to do to get these processes in place. Whilst we wait for a few seconds, let's say a minute, to get almost everybody on, or most of us who registered on, may I use this opportunity to introduce ourselves to you. With the West Africa Competitiveness Program, WACOMP Ghana component, we're working on three main value chains: cosmetics and personal care products. Fruits, we're working mainly on mango and pineapple, and then cassava derivatives. In this area, we're working to promote quality productions and quality processing, and also linking various producers and processors to the markets. Due to COVID, we've been having this webinar series, and today this is amongst the very last sessions of webinars we'll be having towards the end of the year. We'll entreat all of you to pay attention, and then as we listen to our experts. So as I said, the expert for this morning is Stephen Achampong, and Stephen will be taking us through a presentation on the title Organic Production, Wild Collection and Processing Certification. So anything there is in organic processes, Stephen will take us through that. Before Stephen moves in, my colleague Ebe would launch a poll. There are questions that is coming up for the polls, and then we would take these questions. We'll treat everybody here to answer, give us an idea. It gives our resource person, Stephen, a fair idea who is here and what we all expect. So are you aware of the requirements for being organic certified? A yes, a little bit, or no? And then have you ever tried to undergo the process for becoming organic certified? Yes, and achieved. Yes, but could not be certified and never tried. So we entreat all of us to please attempt this question for us. It gives our expert a fair idea who we are, and then it helps him also to stress on the point. Yes. So far, less than yes. We have about 50% who have voted. We are entreating everybody to please go ahead and vote. It's going up. We want everybody to give us an idea so that when we launch into the deep, as we say, we'll know where we are going and where we have to pay attention to. So in the next 30 seconds, we'll be wrapping up. Please, if you've just joined, you're welcome to the webinar, and we entreat you to first assignment is help us with this poll, give us an idea whether you've been able to go through organic certification, whether you know what it takes to go through organic certification, and then we'll be able to do that. I think in the next 5 seconds, as I count down, the results will be displayed. Then we know who and who is here. So 4, 3, 2, 1. I think we are almost there. Good. So the results are up. Very interesting. 22% are aware of organic certification requirements. The same, so 22%, a little bit, but a whopping 56% have no idea what it is. Have you ever tried to undergo the process for becoming organic certified? Yes, and achieved. It's only 6%. That's only one person amongst us. So we are about 25 people. It's only one person. Well, yes, but could not achieved is also another one, but never tried. Wow, 89%. So we see that in effect, most of us haven't done it and we are not aware, but we all have the desire to go through. So Stephen, your work is cut out for us. You would have to encourage us, give us what it takes to prepare us to venture into organic certification. On this note, I take it backstage and I hand over to you, Stephen. Thank you very much, and welcome all participants. We hope you enjoy your times with us this morning. Thank you once again and welcome. Stephen, please, I hand over to you. Stephen, your mic is muted, please.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Stephen.
Yes. So thank you for this opportunity to be able to give a presentation on organic production, word collection, and processing certification. I think from the survey, I think is it 89% of the number here that have not tried anything, on organic?
Yes.
Okay, I see. And 1% tried and achieved, and 1% tried and never achieved. Is that so?
Exactly. That's so. That's correct.
Okay, so that's fine. So this morning, we want to get ourselves familiarized with the requirements for organic production, word collection, and processing. Before we go on the presentation, we should keep it at the back of our mind that we are going to learn something about how to go organic, and in even going organic, how to even get organic in word collection as well as in processing, so that we will have an in-depth knowledge, so that when someone says, I'm organic certified, it will not be like, oh, as for me, I've not used any chemical, so it's organic. So please, if you make it a point to really understand the concept of being organic. So at the end of this training session, it is our hope that everybody will be familiarized with the requirements for organic production and word collection as well as processing certification. In case you don't understand anything, I think you can pen down. I think there is a section for giving us your questions where we can answer them appropriately at the right time. So if you have any questions, don't keep them to yourself. Let us know so we know the best way we can help you. My name is Stephen Achampon. I am the responsible person for Group EcoSet Ghana, as well as English-speaking West African countries. I'm also an auditor with EcoSet, as well as a consultant for organic, sustainable, and ethical production. So that's a little introduction about me. But for today, we are going to have our discussion on organic production, word collection, and processing. So one may ask, in a nutshell, when we say something is organic, what is the understanding of it? To be able to understand that something is organic, the simplest understanding of it is that your system has not used any chemical pesticide or chemical fertilizer. Then in addition to that, there should be certification. Then you can get premium price. So you see that going organic is synonymous with having premium price. So this is the simplest definition for organic, but we will delve more into it so that we will know that organic goes beyond just not using chemicals. So according to IFOAM, and by the way, IFOAM is International Federation of Organic Agricultural Movement, and currently the name is IFOAM Organic International. They are the mother body that coordinates all organic activities, as well as between organic certifiers and all the people who engage in organic and sustainability goals. So IFOAM definition of organic agriculture is that is a production system that sustains the health of the soils, the ecosystems, and the people. Meaning that the certification actually begins with the soil before we get into the ecosystem. That is the interaction between the plants and the animals in an environment, as well as it's also what sustains the health of the people. So to look at this means that organic even started with what? Edibles, items that we take into our system. Then you see that organic relies on biodiversity and cycles adapted to local conditions rather than the use of inputs with adverse effects. That's what he talked about when we want to say something is organic. Then according to IFOAM, organic agriculture also combines tradition, innovation, and science to the benefit of the shared environment and to promote fair relationship between fair relationships and good quality of life for all that is involved. Meaning that organic does not come in to change anything that you are doing. All that organic seeks to do is that how do you do your farming system? What is the tradition of the pineapple growers in Isawam area? What is the tradition of the pineapple growers in a Kufi area? You know that the varieties that survive in the Kufi area are different from the varieties that do well in Sawam area. And for that, if you are going organic, the traditions will not be the same. It also depends on innovation. How are you able to project problems that that you are able to foresee, and how are you going to solve it? It is up to you to be innovative. Plan how you are going to face challenges and how you are going to solve it. Then it says that it's based on science. So whatever that you are able to innovate, whatever you are able to practice, you should be able to repeat it in a different environment, and you should be able to work. And in doing all this, you know that you ensure fairness, and the fairness not only with yourself, but fairness with your employees, as well as even the society in which your operation is taking place. So that's what talks about organic. So going deeper, we know that organic is going beyond the use of chemicals or not using chemicals. And you said we have 4 main principles of organic agriculture. And the first principle for our discussion is a principle of health. Said organic agriculture sustains and enhances the health of the soil, plants, animals, humans, and the planet. They see them as one and indivisible entities. It means that once you certify or the soil becomes free of any prohibited substances, it will automatically affect the plants, and the animals and the human beings that will feed on them will automatically benefit. And everything will go to the benefit of the planet because we are one and we cannot be divided from the other. So that is the principle of health. So when you hear of organic principles, think of 4. We have 4 main principles. And now the first one that we are discussing based on IFOAM is a principle of health. The second principle is a principle of ecology. Ecology by means that we say that organic agriculture is based on living ecological systems and cycles, and it works with and emulates and helps sustain them, meaning that whatever is taking place within the environment should be able to sustain itself, meaning that the food web should be able to work. Decomposers, when we say decomposers, living organisms that are able to break down maybe dead plants or animal species, they are decomposers. They are supposed to be there so that we can return nutrients back to the soil. They are supposed to work. And they should be pollinators around, such as bees. They are supposed to cause pollination so that we will not have to find human beings to be doing hand pollination, just as is happening with our cocoa sector. So we say that organic depends on living ecological systems and cycles. And as the cycles continue, we have what is called eco-functional intensification. And by eco-functional intensification, we mean that you don't need anybody or you don't need any intervention to control pests, to control diseases. It is when the environment becomes stable and defends itself and works for itself without any external intervention. That is the second principle of organic agriculture. The third one is the principle of fairness. So as you can see in the diagram, the right and the left side are balanced, meaning that organic agriculture builds on relationships that ensure what fairness with regard to the common environment and life opportunities, meaning that we have to be fair, not only to ourselves, but we need to be fair to the soil. How do we become fair to the soil? Not using the unapproved substances that we are talking about, not using any other additives that may kill the living organisms or the living systems of the soil. We need to be fair to our customers, meaning that not making any false claims, not claiming something to be organic whilst it is not organic. You understand? And we need to be fair to also to our employees, pay them the right kind of wage. We need to be able to make sure that they work according to the right kind of working hours. And if they should do overtime payment must be paid accordingly. Then we need to also be fair to the community in which we are working, meaning that you have to, when it comes to employment, employ the people within the community, so that by doing this, we can get what is called social license. By social license, we know that our operation can move on well without any interruption. That is the principle of fairness. And the last one is the principle of care. So care means that organic agriculture is managed in a precautionary and responsible manner to protect the health and the well-being of the current and the future generations, as well as the environment. And by to make sure that we take good care of the soil by not polluting it. And by not polluting it, you will get the right kind of plants and crops, and you will get the right products where animals will feed on, humans will also feed on. And by doing this, we can hand over a pollution-free environment to the next generation that will come after us. So the 4 principles of organic agriculture, if you should go back, are the principle of health, the principle of ecology, the principle of fairness, and that of care. So if anyone should ask you, upon what basis are you doing organic? You cannot say that I'm not using chemical. Somebody can ask you, are you sure you are caring for the environment? Are you sure you are fair to the community in which you are working? Are you sure that you are sustaining the health of the soil or even the people or the animals that are involved? Are you sure that the ecology is being preserved? So these are the 4 main principles which we are supposed to keep with us, so that we can claim that we are really practicing organic agriculture. Then we come to organic business models. There are so many of us who want to start organic business. But starting the organic business, there are several options that we need to choose from, depending on the available resources and the financial commitment that we want to engage in, as well as the needs of our clients. So in summary, we have these kind of models. The first one is a smallholder model, and the second one is a contract production model. And the third one is a sourcing and aggregation model. And the fifth one is a hired labor or single estate. Then we end with the last one, which is a wild collection model. For the smallholder model, that is when you're able to register a group of smallholder farmers who are producing, let's say, pineapple. You register them under one company or one cooperative name, and you sign contract with them where you come out with what is called internal standard. Then by the internal standard, everybody follow it. Then you set up an internal control system, meaning that you control them from a central office where everybody has a contract with the organization. And having this contract, you go about the requirements where you set sanctions and categories that anybody who does A, B, C, and D will be given so and so sanctions. Then everybody follows it. And use of input is also centralized so that somebody may not be using neem oil and somebody will also be using PKO or palm kernel oil for controlling of the same kind of pest. Everybody receives the same level of training, and the implementation of the organic system is also unified. That is a smallholder model. And the contract production can fall under smallholder, where the smallholder cooperative can also sign a contract with an off-taker to be able to supply them with the needed raw material. That is the contract production. Then the sourcing of an aggregation is when maybe a processing company sources different raw material from different smallholder groups or small contract production groups who are having valid organic certificates, so that they also get processing certificate at their end. Then hard labor or single estate, it can be one large farm, maybe 3,000 hectares, where you have hired maybe 10 or 50 staff who are working under you. That one is just one. Then the last one is the wild collection model. And with the wild collection model, we talk about plants which are on their natural environment without any disturbances, where the plants are harvested. And then we also ensure that the stability of the environment is can be guaranteed, as well as there will not be any contamination of the environment. And this is what happens in the share, those in the share sector, as well as the baobab, and those of us who also export devil claws, we go in for the organic wild collection model. So these are some of the organic business models that we can go into. Then we come to introduction to organic certification. Say that organic certification is a process certification. And by process certification, we say that organic certification is a certification process for production of organic food and other agricultural products. So if you look at the definition, it talks about it, that it talks about food and other agricultural products. So the emphasis on organic is really on food before other agricultural products also fall in place. It said that it is intended to assure consumers that the product that is what is managed as organic is in fact produced according to a set of rules and regulations. And these rules and regulations are termed production standards. And this one can vary from country to country. So we'll go into it, then we know the different certification standards that we have according to different countries. So we come to the next one, which says that who can be certified? Who can be certified? So we say that anybody at all in the food supply chain or the organic supply chain can be certified. And it ranges from growers or producers. And it can be growers of seed or planting materials as well as food crops. They can be certified. Then distributors of these products can also be certified. Handlers of organic products can be certified, as well as exporters. Then subcontractors. Subcontractors means intermediaries between one organic actor and the other. Those ones too can be certified. So these are the categories of actors who can qualify for organic certification. Then organic market. One may say, what is an organic market? Organic market simply refers to the destination country. So if your product is going to the US, someone asks you, what is your market? You're supposed to say, my market is the US. And by the US, you are going by the US organic regulation. What is your market? My market is the Europe. Then you go by the European regulation. But you cannot say, where is your market? My market is Ghana. It's not possible because Ghana doesn't have a recognized organic regulation. So you cannot say the organic market is Ghana. But you can say that your market is in any one of these. And the destination countries include the USDA National Organic Program, NOP. And this one refers to products that have their market in the United States. So that is the National Organic Program. And the next one is the EC Organic Regulation 834/2007. And this is a product that is going to Europe, European Commission, the European Union. That is the next market. Then the third market is the Japanese Agricultural Standard. That is the Japanese market is the next destination. They have the Canadian Organic Standard. It's also another niche market for product going to Canada. They have the Korean Organic Standard for product going to Korea. And we also have the Chinese. We also have the Saudi Arabian Standard. All these ones are coming in, but we just brought in these ones. But the major ones are the USDA, the EU, and the Japanese. Then there's also an equivalency agreement between the US and the Canadian Organic Standard, so that even if you are in Ghana, you get certified for the USDA NOP, you can get an equivalency statement from your certification body so that you can also send your products to the Canadian market. So in a nutshell, these are the destination markets. So before you start any organic project, you need to know your market. Other than that, you cannot even start. When you are going to fill the form with a certification body, there will be a portion for you to know your market. So if you don't know your market, you say that, okay, I'm doing all of them, then you know that you are going to pay much money compared to somebody who already knows their market. Then they said, in addition to the major standards that we have regarding the destination countries, we also have private standards. And with these private standards, they have additional requirements that needs to be fulfilled. And the notable among them are the UK Soil Association. So in case you have a product that is going to EU, and now that Brexit is about taking place, the UK people may require that you get certified for their own private standard, that is the UK Soil Association. Then the next one is the BioSwiss. BioSwiss is the private standard for products going to Switzerland. Then we have Naturland. That is also a private standard for products going to Germany. Then the CRAV is also a private standard for products going to Sweden. So you look through these private standards, you see that they have looked through the major standards and they've seen some loopholes or some requirements that have not been fulfilled, and they have included them in whatever that they have. So for example, BioSwiss products cannot be shipped by air. It can only go by land or by sea. That's one requirement. And BioSwiss products too cannot be certified outside of Switzerland, but it can be approved outside Switzerland, but it can only be certified inside Switzerland. And before you can ship BioSwiss products, you need to have Swiss import who take your going for the BioSwiss standard. You need to be certified under the EU regulation for not less than 3 years before you can qualify for that, because that standard places emphasis on the ecology, the environment, and all that. So they want to ensure that the environment is very stable before they can really work with you. Then we have the organic certification process. So just as we said before being organic certified, one needs to understand the most suitable organic business model, just as we have discussed. Then the business operation can also get the assistance of an experienced consultant. And the consultant can also help them do an initial risk assessment. Then we can also design training program for the staff as well as the management. Then the needed documentation can also be provided. Then after you finish all these ones, then you can decide on the certification body based on the market that you want to sell your product. So all that we want to say is that before you even discuss going into organic, you need to know your market. Because if you don't know your market, you don't know the specific standard that you are going in for. So then knowing your market is very, very important. And we said that the market is your destination country for your product. So this is a simple overview of the certification process. So before certification, what do you do? You do what application and application review takes place, where you apply to your certification body, then you commit yourself with a certification body by describing your activities. Then the certification body will also review your activities and give you quotation. Then after you've understood it, then you arrange for your audit or your inspection. So during your audit and your inspection takes place. Then from the inspection, the certification body will do their review and give you certificate if you qualify. Then there's regular surveillance or monitoring activities from the side of the certification body, meaning that within a year, they can visit you as much as they want, depending on the risk that you pose to the certification body, depending on items or issues that were identified during your inspection. So your certification body can decide to visit you anytime they want in order to make sure that you are complying with the requirements of the standards that you want to sell your products. So before you go into organic, there are some rules that need to be respected. The first one is conversion. This one is especially for those of us who want to go into production. Production means that agricultural production, meaning that you want to really control how the plants will perform on the field. You must go into conversion, and conversion simply means you are changing from organic activity to conventional activity to organic, and changing start from the mindset. Before you even talk about the soil, you are changing because you are familiar with killing all plants, you are familiar with destroying everything that you have, you are familiar with what using pesticides to solve all problems. So you are changing from all these. Therefore, plants and plant products will be considered organic. Organic production rules need to be applied on the parcels during conversion period. So it is during conversion period that you change your activities to suit organic requirements. So for annuals and semi-perennials, example, maybe pineapple, conversion period takes 24 months. And after 12 months after conversion, you can sell your products in conversion, that is organic in conversion, according to EU organic requirements. But if it is NOP, after 12 months, it is still conventional. They say that the products can be sold as organic if sowing falls 24 months after conversion date has started. That's when you can sell it as organic. And in case your product is perennial, example of perennial plant is can be cashew, can be mango, any plant that completes its life cycle beyond 12 months is termed as perennial. It says that if harvest falls 12 months after conversion day start, you can sell it as organic in conversion according to the EU organic regulation. Then when can you declare it as organic? You can only declare it after 36 months. Is that if harvest for 36 months after conversion. So this is a typical example. For example, I have my cashew plantation, which I want to convert. Now, between the 1st of September 2014 is where I start my conversion. So year one, product is sold as conventional. Then until 1st of September 2015. Then after 1st of September 2015, that is conversion year two, the product may be sold as organic in conversion according to EU organic regulation. But regarding the USDA or NOP regulation, the product is still conventional. Then year three to it may be sold as in conversion. It can only be sold as organic after year three. So you see that after 1st September 2017, any date after 1st September 2017, you can sell your product as organic. So it means that from 2nd of September 2017, the product can be sold as organic. So this is a typical example of conversion period for a typical perennial crop. So sometimes not all lands can undergo conversion. It means that it may be possible to reduce the conversion period under certain conditions. Example of such conditions is that if the land is natural or agricultural areas are not treated with products not authorized for organic production for at least 3 years, you can get approval from your certification body to get certification right away, even if it's for crop production. Then the second one is a land that has been part of programs for environmental protection or traditionally farmed crops for at least 3 years, in case the government has reserved certain lands that these lands cannot be used. These lands are for protection of the environment. Because no chemical substances have been used on that land, you can do organic right away from year one. That one certification body can give you retrospective or retroactive approval. Then we come to organic word collection. Organic word collection is for plants that are grown in the wild without any human intervention. Is that for plants or plant parts to be qualified under organic word collection, the following points need to be respected. The first one is that the collected plant or the plant part must not be listed in CITES or IUCN list of endangered species. IUCN is International Union of Conservation of Nature. So they have a list where they have plants that are going extinct. Those ones say you cannot undergo certification or you cannot get anything from them because they are on the red list. So before you go in for word collection, you should know that the plants are not on the red list. The second point is that the collected plant part must not disturb the stability of the collection area. If you are going to cut down certain parts of the plant, you are going to destroy certain kind of animals within the environment before you can do your collection activities. You don't qualify for that. And the third one is that contamination of the collection area needs to be assured. No contamination is needed around the collection area. And if these can be guaranteed, then you can qualify. Then we basically want to look at the compliance requirements for organic word collection activities. The first one is that the harvest or the collection areas must not be treated with prohibited substances for at least 3 years prior to harvesting. So it means that if there have been any farming activity around the area, that one should be after 3 years ago that you can claim the place to be to do what collection activity. The second point is that there should be detailed description of the harvesting area that needs to be provided to your certification body. The next point is that there should be an overview map of the collection or harvesting area. The overview map should have a scale with boundaries, with pathways, including areas of possible contamination around the boundary. You need to indicate all of them so that in case of contamination source, at least during your risk assessment, you can be rest assured that it's possible that this contamination came from source A or source B. Then the fourth requirement is that you need to register your collectors or your harvesters. So you provide a list of your harvest workers. And the list should contain their name, their special code, their estimated tonnage, the number of people that assist them in collection, and the date that you inspected their collection area. So these are the basic information we need. They say that there should be a written commitment with the collectors. There should be traceability, that you coding of harvesting areas or harvest workers. Especially when they harvest from multiple locations, you code them so that you know that Madam 2A, you collected from collection center A. Madam 2B, the same madam, but you collected from collection center B. So that in case of contamination of any substances or in case of suspicion, you can go back and do back tracing, or you can do back tracking. You say that the next point is that you need to develop internal collection rules and sustainable collection management plan. Internal collection rules are the rules that you want your collectors to follow. Like, for example, use only the good sacks that are supplied by the company after collection. Use only clean water to do parboiling. Then after parboiling, if you store it immediately in the community store, do not store in your rooms and all that. So all these ones are internal collection rules. Don't use dirty water in parboiling. Dirty water can affect the butter quality. So all these ones are internal collection rules. And a sustainable collection plan is where you train your collectors to be able to do certain activities that will ensure the stability of the collection area. For example, maybe do not cut down any share plant, do not climb the share plant, allow fruit to fall before you collect. Do not collect all the fruits that fall. Maybe collect 60% of available fruits under the trees so that the other part or the leftover part can regenerate on their own. So all these ones will come in the sustainable collection management plan. Then you have to train your collectors on internal collection rules as well as the sustainable collection practices. Then we need to obtain local collection permits for the collection activity. Then in addition to the permit, you have to also get non-treatment attestation from either the Agric Ministry or the Forestry Commission that the collection site or the collection area has not received any prohibited substances for the past 3 years. The next point that needs to be respected is that you need to provide harvest estimates for harvesting of the harvesting sub areas and the amounts to be collected per year. So all these ones help us to see if you are over exploiting the environment where the collection is going to take place or not. Then processing. In the processing activities, you have to list the cleaning products that are used. Then there should be written procedures for cleaning, procedure for sanitizing and all that. Then there should be records of consignments, then labels should also be available. Then you need to implement separation measures to prevent commingling with non-organic products and contamination with unauthorized substances. Co-mingling here means that mixing two products, two same products in different status. That is co-mingling. For example, in case you have organic shea nut and conventional shea nut, when you mix the two, it is co-mingling. Then contamination means that when a prohibited substance mixes with an organic substance. So for example, in case there's a herbicide or glyphosate container or glyphosate left over that comes close to an organic shea nut, that is contamination. But when conventional shea nut comes in association with organic shea nut, it's co-mingling. It's co-mingling because you cannot separate the organic from the conventional. And it is contamination because the prohibited substance has come in contact with the organic product, and the organic product cannot contain its organic integrity. So that is contamination. And another example of contamination can also mean that when the collected plant is shea nut, but you have mixed it with maize, because maize is not our focal crop or the object of interest, it can also be contamination. And here the contaminant may be the maize. And there should be quality assurance protocol that needs to also be in place. There should be cleaning procedure, organic record or retreat procedure, good manufacturing practices should also be in place, permanent identification procedure at all points, then container loading procedure in case you want to also send the products to the port. So all these procedures need to be fulfilled. Then having done this, we come to organic processing. And in processing, we want to make sure that you fulfill three different key areas. The first one is that operators need to take precautionary measures to avoid risk of contamination by unauthorized substances or products. That's the first one. The first one is precaution, prevent. The second one is that you need to implement suitable cleaning measures, because through cleaning, you can get contamination. And with the cleaning measures, you can monitor the effectiveness of the cleaning and you can record the operations of the cleaning. And the next point is that you need to guarantee that non-organic products are not placed on the market with an indication referring to the organic production market. So for processing to be respected, or for organic products to comply with processing rules, you need to first take precautionary measures to make sure that you avoid contamination. The second one that says that cleaning must be suitable. There should be suitable cleaning measures to monitor the effectiveness of the cleaning. And then through this, you can guarantee that you already selling organic products and not just contaminated products, because many products get contaminated during cleaning. So that is it. So you see, all these 3 points are intertwined. You take precautionary measure, then make sure that cleaning is done suitably, then you can get a guarantee that your product is really meeting organic requirements. Then in case you are doing mixed operation, by mixed operation, we say operations that are carried out continuously until the complete run has been dealt with. There should be separation by time or place from similar operations that are performed in organic and non-organic products. Meaning that if you are doing both organic and conventional butter, you need to plan. And in planning, you make sure that you do organic production first before conventional weekly. And anytime you want to do organic activity, you take part of the organic product, you need to clean you use it to clean your machines, and you declare those organic products that were used in cleaning as conventional. Then separation by time or place during storage. You need to make sure that the organic products are not stored with your conventional products at the same place or at the same time during product storage. This is to guarantee that no co-mingling takes place. You say that you need to inform your certification body and you need to have updated register of all operations and quantities that you are processing when you are doing mixed operations. Then it should be permanent identification of lot for traceability purposes, so that you can really identify the organic products at every stage of the production chain. Then suitable cleaning of the production equipment before organic implementation is also very crucial, because you are into mixed processing. It's possible that contaminants from other processing activities are still in place. You say that storage of products. During storage of products, you're saying that you need to avoid any mixing or contamination during storage. That is why we need separation in time and separation in place. There should also be identification of organic products at all times. And if you want to identify organic products at all times, then labeling and traceability system should be in place to be able to assure that. And organic products that are kept must be kept separate from other foodstuff in mixed operations. And the consignment needs to also be identified, and suitable cleaning was also carried out before the storage of organic products. Then you say that collection of products, that is, this one talks about transport system. Collection of products and transport to preparation units. The simultaneous collection of organic and non-organic production is possible under this condition. One, when there is appropriate measure to prevent any possible mixing or exchange with non-organic products to ensure the identity of organic products. For example, in case you are transporting organic shell nuts and conventional shell nuts, you can label the organic shell nuts, or there should be bag coding. Organic shell nut can be in blue bag, conventional shell nut can be in brown bag. That one you can assure that you can identify the organic products. But if all of them or the both of them are in similar containers, then possibility of mixing without proper coding is very high. So during packaging and transport of organic products to other operations, you need to label the product. And in labeling, the following information is needed: the name and address of the operator, for example, ABC Company Limited, the name of the product, organic shell nut, reference to the organic production method, maybe Ghana agriculture or non-EU agriculture, the name or the code of the certification body. Maybe you can say EcoCert, you can say Control Union or something. And if it is EcoCert, you bring the code GH Bio 154. Then the lot identification mark where relevant. Maybe this is your third product that is coming in the month of September. So maybe ABC/3/09, something like that. Then you need to identify it. So this is information that is needed during transport. Then after you transported the product, what do? You receive. So reception of the product from other units or operators. So the operator shall check the closing of the packaging and the presence of the labeling information. You have to check that everything is there. Then the operator shall cross-check the information on the label with the information on the accompanying documents. So in case they came with waybill, invoice, delivery order, bill of lading or anything, you must check that the labeling is saying that what you are bringing is 50 kg each, and you have 31, the waybill must correspond so that it is 31 and not 35. Then the results of this verification shall be explicitly mentioned in a documentary account. Order is saying that you have to record or the information on reception of raw materials into your facility. Then during processing, the following activities must be avoided at all costs. The first one is the use of GMO or products of GMO. No products of GMO can be certified organic. The second one is the use of irradiation. Irradiation to control bacteria or germs is also not needed or not allowed in organic. Then we also came to a question, differences between organic and natural products. If you know that organic products have been produced according to organic production standards, and these standards are also verified by a third-party certification body, and this is what makes it organic. You can produce your product without using any chemical. If it has not been attested by a third party or accredited third party certification body, you can, and you don't have certificate for that, you cannot claim that the product is organic. The second point you have to note is that natural products are produced without the use of any prohibited substances, but not verified by an accredited certification or control body. If you produce it, you have not used any chemical, you have followed all the good practices and organic production rules, and there's no attestation, you cannot claim it to be organic. The next point you have to also note is that organic product may not be necessarily be chemical free, but all that is said that this activity have been controlled by an organic certification body. On the other hand, natural products may be free of chemicals. So these are the two that we are supposed to take note of. Organic products may contain certain chemicals because we don't certify the product. We actually certify the process. So we have product certification, process certification, and system certification. And organic certification is a process certification. But natural products may be chemical free, but the only thing is that it has not undergone any audit, so you cannot claim it to be organic. Thank you very much for your attention. In case you have questions, we're ready for them. Hello? Hello?
Yes, Stephen, thank you very much. I think Charles will step in now to ask you the questions. Let's see if he has solved these technical issues. Otherwise, I can do it. Let me just check with him. Okay, no, Charles unfortunately disconnected. Again, we are having some technical issues today. So we have so far received 4 questions while you were presenting. Thank you very much for your very detailed presentation. And I would invite the other participants also to submit their questions if they have any in the question and answer box that you have at the bottom of the screen. And then I will try to pass them on to Stephen. So first thing, there is a question from one of the participants that says if you can further explain the conversion products. The presentation you made was quite clear, but he says that he had a buyer in Germany who was asking for organic or conventional products. So if you could further explain the difference between the two.
Okay, so just as we said that before you can really practice organic, you need to change from your old ways of conventional activities so that you can really follow the organic practices, and that is conversion. And according to the organic regulations for annuals and semi-perennials. annuals are plants that are able to complete their life cycle within 12 months. And semi-perennial, sometimes we can eat into 12 or 13 or 15. Example is the pineapple. So pineapple is an example of semi-perennial. So those ones, so within 24 months, you can certify them. It means that the last time that you use chemical on the land should be 24 months ago. Then on the perennials, that are the plants that takes 3 years or more to be able to give you edible food. That's your perennials. The last time you should use chemicals on the land should be 36 months ago. If your buyer said they needed in conversion, then it means that the products that they need, maybe your operation is really under conversion. So any product after conversion year 1 can be sold as in conversion products. So for example, you are producing pineapple and you started conversion in year 2019. From 2019 to 2020, the product is still conventional. Then from 2020 to 2021, you have entered into in conversion. It means your product is in conversion. It is after 2020, where you are going to 2021, that you can sell it as organic. So when your buyer said he needs in conversion product, then your buyer tells you that I need a product that is in conversion to organic. That have been certified, that is in conversion, but after year 1, meaning any product within year 2, almost getting to organic. That is the in conversion plan.
It relates to this window of the 3 years.
Yes.
Thank you, Stephen. There is another question that is quite detailed and relates to which organization gives this certification, the organic certification.
The organic certification. Normally, we have accreditation bodies. So for example, you see that for the NOP, which is the National Organic Program for the US, the accreditation body is the USDA. And these USDA will accredit certification bodies that are third-party organizations. The third-party organizations, example is EcoSet, example is Control Union, example of CERES, example is WACOMP. So all these ones are mandated to do certification on behalf of these standard owners. So that's why they are called third party. So the contract is actually between the client on one side and the standard owners, that is the USDA or the EU Commission. Then the third party certification body is an accredited organization that is mandated to come and be a referee between the consumer or the client and the standard owners. So the certificate comes from the third party certification with the accreditation from the standard owners. So that's where it comes from. So it comes from EcoSet, but EcoSet cannot just issue the certificate without authorization from USDA. So all certifications that are issued from EcoSet are also registered with USDA, so that any product that you send to the US, if somebody wants to check whether it's really organic, they can go to the organic integrity database. They can see your name and the products there. If it is the EU Commission, you can go to the Commission's website and you can do the same. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen. There are a couple of questions regarding the cost of the certification, because people are saying that many of our beneficiaries are either startups or small businesses. So what would be the cost of receiving the organic certification? And I know this is a tricky one. And is this affordable for small producers?
Okay. So first of all, you say that the cost depends on several factors. It depends largely on the size of your operation and the complexity of your activities. So normally with a simple operation, I think it can range from about 1,500 going. Then if you want to really reduce cost, it means that you must register as smallholder groups. so that you can get your tonnage to be met. And the currency that we use is the euros that I mentioned. So there are other organizations that are in the system that are also assisting in this certification business. Example is the GIZ. They had a sourcing facility from the World Trade Center to assist producers of organic products or sustainable products, as long as they are going to employ more people from the community to reduce poverty. They pay as much as 80% of the certification cost, so that at least the 20% you can show commitment, you can do it. So there are some sponsorship packages within the system that are also assistant. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Then there is a question with reference to the wild collection. What are the organic protocols for the collection and packaging or bottling of wild honey?
Wow.
Do we have another question?
This one is a very tricky one, because the requirements on wild honey, they are very, very tricky. And one of them is that the forage areas where the bees are supposed to roam or the bees are supposed to feed should be around 3 kilometers away from the center of your operation. And within those forage areas, there should not be any conventional activity around those areas. And this one is very tricky. Maybe this one should be taking place in a very big forest somewhere, because within radius of 3 kilometers, there's no way nobody will use glyphosate within those areas. And if anybody has used glyphosate, it means that you don't qualify. These are some of the main reasons why we don't have any certified honey in West Africa, but at least we have one in Sierra Leone. Then we have many of them in Ethiopia and East Africa, where there's not much use of chemicals. So this protocol, we can't even start in Ghana.
Very good. Another question related to a different value chain from fruits. There is somebody that is asking, I'm a pineapple producer and I have stopped for 24 months. If now I want to go organic, how long will it take for the conversion?
Okay, if there is documentary proof that he has stopped for the past 24 months, and he can get attestation from the Ministry of Agriculture that it is true, the production has not taken, no conventional production has taken place on the said land, and they can give attestation that there's no contamination, they can start organic agriculture right away.
Okay. What is the validity of the certificate, and is there some kind of annual surveillance system? And at what level suspension may be sanctioned, like termination, for example?
Okay.
So many questions in one.
Just as we checked on the certification process, it started from before inspection, during inspection, after inspection. We saw that monitoring is the last point that we discussed. And the monitoring activities talks about the surveillance. And that surveillance, the regulation says it must happen at least once a year. At least once a year means that it can be more than one in a year. So the validity of the certificate is normally 1 year, but a company like EcoCert normally gives 2 years, so that you are not stressed out in case you are not able to meet your audit date. So if you are not able to meet your audit date, you can still be exporting your product and you can still arrange your current audit, provided you still want to do your audit. And activities that may lead to suspension of your product. The first one is fraud. Maybe you are claiming that your product is organic and that is not organic. And we get alert from maybe your neighbors, alert from authorities. or we come and take samples and we check and the samples contain certain prohibited substances in a level that is above the recommended rate, you can face suspension. Then the next one is that in case you are not truthful and honest about your financial status, for example, not being able to pay your certification costs can also lead to suspension. So fraud is a major one, contamination is another one, then inability to fulfill your financial obligations.
But then every year one should file the request for renewal,
yes,
right?
Yes, yes.
Excellent. There is another question related to time. One participant is asking, can you tell roughly how much time will be needed to be able to certify your product as organic from start to finish?
Okay, thank you very much. Just as we were saying, we were discussing on the requirements. We made mention of the fact that you need to get at least a consultant to assist you. In case you have a consultant who has also done the initial risk assessment, who has also taken your staff through training, and has also fulfilled all your documentary requirements, starting certification will be very smooth. You can get certification at most within 60 to 90 days. You can get your certification. You can get your certificate. But in case you don't have any consultant, you don't have anybody to even assist you in filling your organic system plan, certification can take you 1 year and above. So that is the timeline.
Plus, if you are conventional, the time of conversion.
Yes, this one I'm talking about, because if you are conventional, you don't even qualify to even apply.
Yeah.
Yes.
So all the work before.
Yes.
Thank you, Stephen. There are a couple of questions that are very similar, so I will try to summarize them in one. Is there any regulatory body in Ghana that works on organic product certification? And then is there a certification body in Ghana that can certify the producers and therefore the cost would be reduced?
Okay, so just as we were talking about the destination, the organic market, we said that the organic market is a destination country. And in Africa here, the only Africa countries with certification bodies are Tunisia. It used to be Tunisia, Uganda, and Egypt. Currently, Uganda and Egypt have left the scene. The only country in Africa with organic certification body that is equivalent to the EU organic regulation is Tunisia. So for Ghana, there's no accredited certification body for organic that is registered here and that is having its origin in Ghana. I think all the registered ones like Control Union, Requisite, all that are operating here are having their headquarters in France, in the Netherlands, then with their West African offices. So for certification costs, I know once you have a market, it will not be any much of a problem. But once the market is not there, that's where the challenge comes in. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. We have quite a technical one now from one of our experts. You quoted some IFOAM organic standards, but can you mention some few standards or ISO standard that would apply for organic?
Okay, for organic standards, IFOAM is one of the reference standards. Then we also have another reference standard by Codex Alimentarius Commission. The Codex standards and IFOAM standard, they form the reference standard for all organic standards worldwide. So in case a country like Togo or Ghana, we want to set up our own organic standard, we can use the Codex Alimentarius Commission requirements on organic, as well as the IFOAM basic standard on organic as a base, so that what is peculiar or special to Ghana, we add them so that we get our own Ghanaian standard. So the basic one is the IFOAM, the Codex standards, And the other standards that can also be of help are there. Maybe the USDA final rule, that is also another standard, the Canadian organic standard. We also have the Japanese agricultural standards for regulating all agricultural products. That's for Japan. Then we have them. Then in addition to the private standards that we also discussed. So these are the other standards that can be of help.
Thank you. Then we are left with two other questions, which are more, I think, less related to your PowerPoint, but still related to the topic. So one participant is asking if any market really insists on the use of organic shea butter in products that are mainly using shea as main ingredients, which means, is there a real request in the market for organic shea butter or not? I don't know if...
I think there is, because looking at the request that is coming from the shea sector, there is a huge request, because now, because of the high price of cocoa and its products, chocolate factories and processing companies are looking for cocoa butter substitutes. Now, shea butter is the one that have been identified. And the EU Commission also gives recommendation that you can use shea butter in your product without disclosing it on the package. So that's an avenue where they are also requesting for high tonnage of organic shea butter. So the request is there.
Excellent. And then a last one, a participant is asking, he's producing several different oils, like baobab oil, papaya oil, hibiscus oil, and he's using them both mixed or single product.
Okay.
And he's asking if he should certify each ingredient, or if he should, since he's doing a mix, if he should certify the mix.
Okay. So one thing we have to also take note of it is that if you are certifying one product, it's the same cost. If you are certifying several of them, it's also the same cost. So you can certify the individual one, maybe papaya oil, citronella oil, papaya plus citronella oil, and all of them can be certified on the certificate, so that you do not get a certificate for papaya oil alone, certificate for citronella oil alone, and you are going to sell papaya plus citronella, and you are going to claim it as organic. Anything that is not on your certificate, you cannot claim. You cannot make claim on labels. So anything that you think, maybe papaya citronella mix, the papaya citronella baobab oil mix, you can label all of them so that you can have the corresponding label for them, for those ones, so that you can claim it to be organic. So the certification will cover for all of them, but it will not have any effect on the cost. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Stephen. Then we have one comment, which I think is more for us than for you. Yeah, definitely. One spectator is saying that this was a great overview of the topic, and he has learned a lot, but that maybe because of time, a lot more learning would have been achieved by assuming that many of the spectators were not familiar or conversant in this area, and then we could have provided even more information on this. And yes, we know, unfortunately, it's already 1 hour and 15 minutes, 20 minutes that we are on, and necessarily in a webinar we have to focus and try to reach the main aim of the topic. So, but the point is well taken, and as Charles was saying at the beginning, we meant to have this kind of training even in 2021, but we advanced it because there was a request of having an awareness session on what is organic and what is needed. And then we will make sure that we continue this at the field level, also with some direct coaching and training of the producers in our 3 value chains. And there is the moment where we can even go deeper into details and also discuss further some details. Now, Charles is back also. So Charles, I leave you the floor for the conclusion.
Yes, thank you very much, Stephen. Thank you, Ibe, for holding the fort. We thank you all who joined. We would display an evaluation sheet. We'll please entreat you to fill the evaluation sheet. It should take just like a few seconds. Please give us the feedback. We entreat everybody here to, so it's how do you evaluate today's webinar in terms of content? Very useful, not useful. Feel free, tell us, give us your comments. It helps us to prepare for the next and subsequent webinars. Is today's webinar relevant for your work? Very relevant, a little relevant, no relevant. So please give us an idea. Let's know how to receive today's webinar. The perception will help us shape our subsequent webinars, especially for, we don't know what's going to happen next year, but at least anything we do, all programs we do, your feedback would help us get it right. Yes, we have about 50%. We'll still, please give us the feedback. It helps us. It's more important than we know how to proceed going forward. So whilst we taking the feedback, we would again want to thank all members who have joined us today, that it's been an honor coming your way and always accommodating us in offices, in your homes, in your workplaces. And today's webinar has been an excellent one. We thank Stephen again for that. Our last webinar, most likely for the year, would be the webinar on occupational health and safety. We're going into Christmas, and that is likely, it is our last webinar for the year, for this wonderful 2020 year. And so please, we entreat you Friday, exactly 11 a.m. Please join us and come and listen in, bring your comments. You can log on and listen to us, and then we'll find a way to wrap up the year in a very nice way. When you come in Friday, have a bottle of champagne or a glass of water by your side. At least we'll toast to such a year of webinars. Yes, this is the result of the poll that we did, the evaluation form. Very interesting for us, very useful, 67%, useful, 33%. So on the whole, we say that we've scored, it's been very useful. We thank you that we're able to bring you something useful, or we say very useful. And the relevance, we have 53% saying it is very relevant, and then 47% also saying that it is relevant. A little relevant, no relevance, they did not feature. So on this call, we want to thank you so much. We are happy. We thank our presenter, our expert, Stephen, who has made this relevance very important topic for us. And we thank you for also requesting, and we know we've met you at the point of your needs. Just like Ibe said before we conclude, hopefully into 2020, we would now break in, segregate lower into the various groups, and then the various value chains, cosmetics, fruits, and then cassava, and see what we can do directly there. Again, we asked you during our last webinar that those of you interested in the traceability, please give your details to our experts. Frank for fruits, Na for cosmetics and personal care, Joseph for cassava. It all builds up. Today, Stephen mentioned that it's also one of the requirements to go into organic. You need to have a traceability system put in place. So we would really want to help the industry, give your names to these experts, and next year we would come back and then we would know how to proceed. Looking forward to seeing you all Friday. Until then, on behalf of Ebe, on behalf of our experts, Na, Frank, Joseph, Fred, Kwame, and Mate, Linda, everybody, we say we thank you all for joining us, and then see you on Friday for our very last webinar. For our cosmetic colleagues who are on the Zoom, on the coaching, we also remind you that tomorrow we have one of our last sessions also with you as a team. So looking forward to seeing some of you tomorrow, and then most of us will meet for occupational health and safety on Friday. Till then, we say thank you, enjoy your afternoon, have a good lunch. Bye-bye.
Thank you.